Where's the madam? Huh? I know about all that. I don't know about all that. It's kicking up. It's kicking up. It's kicking up. It's kicking up.
What you doing? You want to run a robot? You want to run a robot?
That woman being described right there is Gabrielle Carrington, a 29-year-old influencer from Manchester, and every single charge you just heard read out connects back to one night, a decision, and a woman named Claudia Glam, who went out for a night with her friends and never came home. But before we get into what happened outside that London nightclub at 4:30 in the morning, we need to go back and understand who these two women were, because this story did not start the night Claudia died. It started way before that, with something so small that most people do it every single day without thinking twice about it. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly how something that petty turned into a murder charge. Now, just so we are clear on the kind of story we are telling here, this is not a situation where two strangers had a random confrontation. These were two women who knew each other, who were in the same industry, moved in overlapping social circles, and had been carrying unresolved tension between them for a long time before things reached a breaking point. That context is important because it is what makes this whole thing so hard to sit with. So let us start with Claudia, because this is ultimately her story. Claudia Zakrewska, known online as Claudia Glam, was a 32-year-old Polish-born woman who had built her life and career in the UK, specifically in Essex, which is just outside London. She was a beauty and fashion content creator with over 250,000 followers on Instagram and around 50,000 on TikTok. Claudia had real brand deals, including a partnership with Fashion Nova, which is one of the biggest fast fashion brands in the world. By all accounts from her friends and family, she was a genuinely warm person. Her mother, Kinga, has spoken publicly about the kind of daughter Claudia was, describing her as someone with a pure heart who touched everyone around her. She was ambitious, social, and active in London's nightlife scene, and she had real plans for where her career was going.
Gabrielle Carrington, who posts online as Rielle UK, had a different kind of origin story. Before she was an influencer, she was on the X Factor in 2013, performing in a girl group called Miss Dynamics, which Gary Barlow put together during boot camp. The group made it all the way to the live finals, which is a serious achievement on that show, but they were eliminated in week 3. By the time this incident happened, Rielle had moved fully into the influencer world and had built a following of over 365,000 people on Instagram, posting luxury travel, designer outfits, and the kind of glamorous lifestyle content that does well with that audience. She also had a hair care brand called Hair by Rielle. On the surface, she was doing well. She had an audience, she had a business, and had a very particular public image to protect. Now here is where the story starts getting complicated, because at some point, these two women went from being connected to being in real conflict.
And according to people who were close to both of them, the thing that started it all was Claudia unfollowing Riel on Instagram.
When I talk about the situation, I'm not talking about hearsay, I'm not talking about through the grapevine. Claudia is my friend at the end of the day. When I'm saying about certain things, I'm being vague only because I don't need to go into so much detail. I only need to say the surface of what has happened. I don't need to go into her whole life story. I don't need to go into certain things. I have respect for her, her friends and her family. You know what I mean? So when I'm saying this is not about man, it's not about man. I'm explaining the fact that this all stemmed from a very long time ago. This is not something that happened a week ago or recently. This all stemmed from Claudia unfollowing Riel, and Claudia not liking Riel, and Riel messaging her, coming on her whole, oh, why did you unfollow? This is all stuff that, the fact it even got to this, Riel has always had issues with people in London. She has issues with a lot of people, and they're all separate people for different reasons, because she always feels like she has to come in an environment and step to people for absolutely no reason.
So according to this woman, who says she was there and knew Claudia personally, Riel reached out after the unfollow, pushed for an explanation, and the friction between them built up over time from that point. It was not a sudden thing. It was slow and steady resentment that kept growing. Now, you might be thinking, is that really all there was to it? And honestly, it probably is not the full picture, because there were likely other things said and done between them during those months that deepened the wound. But the important detail here is that this was not some new beef that popped up the week before the incident. This had been going on for a long time before that night. There was also another story making rounds online very quickly after the incident, one that claimed the whole thing was actually about a man, specifically a UK drill rapper called Twin S, and that the two women had overlapping connections to him, which is what really created the bad blood.
A secret no one knows. I chased with his mom and she nearly crashed on Ashmore Road. I would've chipped both of them out of their clothes. I just licked him and he came with Rose. Rest up Billy and stayed with Pose. Don't buy watch if you ain't got smoke. Everything glitter ain't gold. Let me tell you a secret that no one knows. I cook and I glided, looked at my eyes and he ran back home. I cook and I...
People close to the situation pushed back hard on that version, and even suggested that the man himself was allegedly going around pushing that narrative. He was essentially using two women's tragedies to make himself look desirable. Whether that is true or not is something only the people involved actually know, but it tells you something about the environment these women were operating in.
How many BBLs you got?
5 BBLs.
You had 5 BBLs?
Yeah, and I love it.
She's gonna get moved to, bruv.
What's your type then?
She's my type. I love the BBLs. You're my type still. Do you know what? Funny enough, I usually chat when I say that. Literally, I'm lying, yeah?
I knew he would like me.
You kind of fit the aesthetic because
Okay.
I like the fake things. Like, I like the enhancement.
So you like the BBL?
Yeah, 100%.
He fancies me.
She's buff, bruv. You got the merchandise, so you definitely got to show the man them the M4 BMW package. You get me?
Let me
Come
show.
on.
You know?
Okay, that looks amazing. That looks amazing. Mad thing, bruv. So how much have you spent?
I've spent a lot. Like 100k.
Did you pay for that yourself?
Yeah.
Liar. All financed by you.
Yeah, all finance.
Or not by the taxpayers. Bruv, she ain't got £100,000, bruv. 100,000 pesos, bruv.
My first job I ever got, I actually saved up for my first boob job.
What was your first
I
job?
was working in a milkshake store.
I feel like, I don't know, milkshake must be code for touching willies, bruv. I don't believe it. What's your type? I know it's black dudes, but like, what's after that? Like, what else? She loves black men.
I've never dated a white man. I like a boss man. Like,
A boss, what's it
yeah.
like the shopkeeper man?
No.
Can I get some chewing gum, boss man? Big up boss man, bruv.
What we do know is that by the time April 2026 came around, the tension between Claudia and Riel had reached a point where it was no longer something that could just be ignored or avoided. And in the days leading up to the incident, there were signs that things were about to come to a head.
Reports came out that Riel's house had been broken into shortly before the night in question, which meant she was already on edge before she even made the trip down from Manchester to London. And she was also posting publicly in a way that, looking back at it now, reads like someone who was already expecting a confrontation.
I know that there was like a little bit of a build up to it. I know that Riel, if I pronounced her name correctly, was posting prior to that saying like, you know, don't be looking at me when things go tits up, basically, in other words. And then of course it's all kicked off outside the club. Massive scuff. Everyone's obviously seen the videos of them kind of going back and forth and punching each other up and dragging each other, and all the other friends are involved and the security trying to get them off each other. Like,
Yeah,
it was
it's all
actually
just chaos.
So it was chaos. That is the perfect word for it. Absolute chaos. And then of course she goes to get in the car, so Riel goes to get in her car. I think there's someone banging on the car saying don't do that, but there's also, if you look really closely in one of these videos, and I don't want to be messy, but I also want to point it out, something that I noticed. There is I don't know what the girl's name is, but she's a white girl. She's got a brown dress, so you can all go back and watch this video. She's got a blonde ponytail, yeah? And when Riel has got into the car, you can see the friend spinning the driver's, like the wheel of the car. Whether that's to stop her from getting out of the car, that to stop her, or whether that's to turn it into the position so when she puts her foot down, it does it. I'm not entirely sure because I do not have a license, so I cannot drive.
She drove to London in her black Mercedes, the same car she had posted about on social media multiple times. Both she and Claudia ended up at the same venue that night, a nightclub in Soho called Inca, which is right in the middle of central London, near Oxford Circus. At around 4:30 in the morning on the 19th of April 2026, police and ambulance services were called to Argyle Street in Soho after reports of a car hitting people outside a nightclub. What they arrived to find was chaos. Multiple people were shouting, bystanders were everywhere, and the full picture of what had actually happened that night only became clear later when the police reviewed CCTV footage from cameras in the area. Here is what that footage showed, according to what the prosecutor later described in court. Riel arrived at Argyle Street in her black Mercedes and parked outside the club. She got out of the car and got into an altercation with a man outside, and things quickly escalated from there, pulling in other people around them. At some point, the fight between Riel and Claudia, which had apparently started inside the venue and came out onto the street. A bystander video that spread across the internet showed the two women physically fighting in the middle of the crowd. Multiple people were trying to pull them apart, including security, but it was not working.
I feel like there wasn't really anyone that was trying to...
I think they tried to break up the fight.
I see security tried to break up the fight, but respectfully, they're all quite big girls. So them security guards ain't getting no one off of no one. I don't even mean it like that, because again, respectfully, everyone's wherever they want to be at in terms of their bodies, yeah. But have you seen the security guards trying to pull them apart? It's like me picking up this cup and going, no, don't take the cup. Like there was no oomph in it to say, let's stop.
This.
Yeah, like stop. This is getting out of hand. It's ridiculous. I think I saw, of course, there's more coming out of the towards the story as well, that apparently, I think it was Riel's house got broken into as well off the back of all of the drama that's been taking place. So I feel like it truly was just like escalation. A week of build-up and anger and frustration.
Then Riel walked back to her car and got in the driver's seat. And what happened in the next few seconds is the reason this story exists. The car moved immediately, jumped onto the pavement and hit Claudia, who was standing at the front side of the vehicle. She was dragged forward by the force of the impact and dropped into the space between the car and a metal bike rack on the pavement. The car kept going forward, and Claudia went fully underneath it. She was not the only one hit. A 56-year-old security worker named Anush Chaichi, who was simply standing nearby trying to move an electric scooter, was also struck by the car and suffered injuries that his doctors described as life-changing. A third woman named Letitia Armstrong, also nearby, was hit and suffered a broken bone in her wrist. And then the car reversed back over Claudia. People watching from outside heard what bystanders and commentators later described as a sickening sound, and the crowd that had been filming and shouting up until that point came completely undone.
It's not even like you ran her over, you then run back over again, then got out the car and tried to continue to fight her while she's on the floor.
It's long. It's long. There's no way you can look at it and go, yeah.
There's no way you can look at that and say, okay, cool, maybe it's this.
Yeah.
Like, I get getting angry, don't get me wrong, because I've had my fair share of, maybe not at this age now, but like in the past of going out and...
Tear down.
I haven't run anyone over.
No, obviously.
I haven't run anyone over. I ain't taking it that far.
Drive.
I ain't taking that far. But I've had my fair share of like going out.
What, you got any scuffs? I'm just asking. You got hands?
Yeah, no, definitely just the hands, man. But I've like going out and getting really, really angry or in commotion and thinking, I will smash this person's face in. Like, especially if you've had a few tequilas, that can make you get out of character so quick.
Is it out of character though? Or is it like
who you really
remember,
are?
yeah, alcohol actually brings out who you are, innit? So
I had this conversation with someone the other day because they said bare mean to me when they were drunk, yeah.
Is that
and then
what
the
they
following
actually
day
meant?
they was like, oh no, I didn't really mean it. And I was like, okay. So what do you believe? Like, do you
actually mean what you said?
Do you mean what you said?
Yeah. I can say
that. Or was
that.
you just really drunk and you just said some shit because you was trying to be intentionally spiteful? So like maybe alcohol brings out that spite.
Remember, yeah, you're right. Remember, it makes people Like, it's a false sense of confidence, isn't it?
It is a full sense of
But
confidence.
is the confidence already there? Like, is it like, who are you, innit? Like,
I don't know, because if it was really there, then you'd be like that all the time, no?
Something else that came out in commentary around the footage, and this is one of those details that is really difficult to process, is the role that the crowd played in all of this. Rather than pulling Riel away from the car or doing something to stop the situation before it went where it went, some of the people standing around were reportedly doing the opposite.
The friend was trying to highlight that obviously when people have severe mental health issues in regards to acting unhinged and stuff, it should be looked into in regards to people enabling the behaviour. Because from what we saw in the video as well, people were egging her on to get into the Riel to get into the car. People also have the bystander effect kicking in, where they're literally not doing anything when they're seeing the situation escalate as well. We're seeing people getting jumped as well. No one is intervening.
Riel was arrested at the scene. Police took her into custody right there on Argyle Street. A breath test was administered, and the result was significant. A reading of 61 micrograms of alcohol per 100 milliliters of breath, when the legal limit in the UK is 35. She was nearly twice the legal limit. She had been drinking and had gotten behind the wheel of a car and had driven it into a group of people on a pavement. Claudia was rushed to hospital in critical condition. Anush Chaichi was taken to hospital with severe injuries to his leg, needing surgery. Letitia Armstrong was treated and released. And for the next 6 days, while the Metropolitan Police built their case and the internet completely lost its mind with speculation, Claudia's mother, Kinga, sat by her daughter's hospital bed and posted to Instagram asking strangers to pray.
Regardless of what you're seeing online, if someone, because obviously people are saying Claudia passed away, she didn't pass away, whatever the case is, just need to take into consideration and account that obviously her family and friends are online as well, and this is someone's life. Yes, people like to just and gossip and stuff, but this is more than that, because someone is facing life-threatening injuries. Obviously, wait till it's been confirmed between friends or family, or the news confirms as well. It's still an ongoing investigation, because Claudia was not the only victim that was injured in this incident as well. There's a 50-year-old man, I believe, and another person, but I didn't see the from the video.
In those 6 days, 2 different worlds were happening at the same time. In one world, Claudia's family were at her bedside, watching her fight, holding on to whatever hope they had left. Her mother wrote on the GoFundMe page she had set up to cover medical costs, "My daughter is currently in a coma and desperately fighting for her life. This is the most devastating time our family has ever faced." She also wrote that she could not give up on her baby girl. In the other world, the internet was divided. Some people were calling for Riel to be locked away forever. Others were saying that the story was being told in a way that left out the part where Claudia and her friends had allegedly attacked Riel first, that it was not a one-on-one situation, and that Riel had gotten into that car because she was already hurt and scared and surrounded by people who were not done with her.
So nobody's focusing on all the attacks that were done towards Gabby. You're only looking at the retaliation, what she did. Now, if Gabby was to be unalived at that scene, if they would have beat her to a pulp and bottled her or whatever, just say those licks what she was getting gave her a concussion. Just say they hit her on the wrong side of the head and she would have been on the floor. Would the comments be the same? Would the comments be the same? Gabby got beat up. She got beat up. It was a 3-1. And she tried to get in the car. And they still came and slammed the car door on her. And she turned around and tried to fight the girl that slammed the car door on her. Then she gets into the car and yes, she steps on the gas. And that was her retaliation. Just because her retaliation was more severe and ended more severely doesn't make her any more wrong than the other girl. They are both wrong. The two of them wrong. Me no business. The two of them wrong. The two of them wrong. I do not believe that Gabby premeditated no blood clot. What she did premeditate is that if you lick me or if you don't come for me, I'm going to defend myself.
That debate is going to matter enormously when this case goes to trial, because the difference between murder and manslaughter in UK law comes down to what was going through Riel's mind at the exact moment she pressed that accelerator, and whether the prosecution can prove she intended to kill or cause serious harm, as opposed to acting in a panic. That argument is going to be fought out in court, with the CCTV footage, the witness statements, and every other piece of evidence the Metropolitan Police have been building since the night of the arrest.
Gabrielle Carrington was charged by the Crown Prosecution Service on the 20th of April 2026, which was approximately 24 hours after the incident. The list of charges was long. Attempted murder for what was done to Claudia, grievous bodily harm with intent for the life-changing injuries caused to Anush Chaichi, actual bodily harm for the injuries to Letitia Armstrong, dangerous driving, and drunk driving. She was remanded in custody from the moment she was charged, which means she had no access to bail and went straight to holding while waiting for her court appearance. On the 21st of April, she appeared at Westminster Magistrates Court before District Judge Nina Tempia. She came into the courtroom in a gray leisure suit, flanked by a security officer. She stood with her hands on her hips when proceedings started. She was not asked to enter a plea at that stage, because this was just the first appearance, a formality where the court takes her details and decides whether she stays in custody or gets bail. She confirmed her name, her date of birth, the 6th of November 1996, and her address, and that was essentially all she said. Her mother and her sister were in the public gallery watching. As she was led back down to the cells at the end of the hearing, Riel turned toward them and made a heart shape with her hands. The judge remanded her in custody. The prosecution had argued that giving her bail was too risky because she had a history of traveling frequently to places like Dubai and had enough of a public platform to potentially interfere with witnesses. During that hearing, prosecutor Rizwan Amin laid out the sequence of events as the CCTV footage showed it. And this is where the court record becomes really important because it is the closest thing we have right now to an official account of what actually happened that night. He described how Riel arrived at Argyle Street in her car, got into a confrontation with a male individual as she stepped out, and how that confrontation quickly grew to involve multiple people. He noted there was an ongoing dispute between Riel and Claudia, that the two women knew each other, and that the fight outside the club was not a random event, but the result of that existing tension finally boiling over.
Then he described what the CCTV showed happening next. According to Amin, the footage captured Riel returning to her vehicle and the car immediately moving off and sharply mounting the pavement. He told the court that during that move, the vehicle struck Claudia, who was at the front side of the car, and that she, quote, was dragged forwards and dropped between the vehicle and a metal bike rack before the car continued moving forward and took her fully underneath it. Then, on the 25th of April, 6 days after the incident, Claudia died, and everything shifted. The Metropolitan Police confirmed that the charge of attempted murder was being amended to murder. Riel, who had been facing a very serious situation already, was now facing the most serious criminal charge that exists in UK law. Her next appearance is scheduled at the Old Bailey on the 19th of May 2026, which is the Central Criminal Court in London, the court where the most serious cases in England and Wales are tried. The investigation itself is still ongoing. Detective Chief Inspector Alison Foxwell, who is leading the case for the Metropolitan Police's Specialist Crime Division, has issued multiple public appeals for witnesses, asking anyone who was in the area that night, whether inside the Inca nightclub before things moved outside, or on Argyle Street during the incident itself, to come forward with any information they have. She has also specifically asked people to stop sharing the graphic footage that circulated online, both out of respect for Claudia's family and because material being spread around the internet has the potential to interfere with the fair running of a trial. In the UK, if jurors have been exposed to graphic content or heavy bias before a trial begins, it can seriously damage the prosecution's case, so those warnings from the police carry real legal weight. A woman came forward after the incident who claimed to have had a near confrontation with Riel roughly a year before this night, saying she had left a club and found herself in a threatening situation with her, and that it was only the presence of enough security at the time that stopped it from going further. That account, if it holds up, suggests this was not a completely isolated loss of control, but possibly part of a pattern of behavior that nobody had been forced to account for until now.
But of course, before we even get into that, of course, condolences to Claudia's family. Of course, it is a shame that, you know, you go out for a night out and unfortunately you don't make it home. So before we get into things and talk about it as it's as gossip, essentially, because this is a podcast, that is what we do, I also want to speak about these people like they are humans and they very much have, you know, meaning in people's lives. So rest in peace to Claudia, and condolences to her family, of course, as well. But to get into that, I can't believe the videos that I've seen of that.
I've only seen one.
You've only seen one. There's so many different videos from different angles. There's videos of just the fight, and then of course the actual the rest of the incident itself. Insane. I know that there was a little bit of a build up to it. I know that Riel, if I pronounced her name correctly, was posting prior to that saying you know, don't be looking at me when things go tits up, basically, in other words. And then of course it's all kicked off outside the club. Massive scuff. Everyone's obviously seen the videos of them kind of going back and forth and punching each other up and dragging each other, and all the other friends are involved and the security trying to get them off each other. It was
all just chaos.
So it was chaos. That is the perfect word for it. Absolute chaos. And then, of course, she goes to get in the car. So Riel goes to get in her car. I think there's someone banging on the car saying don't do that. But there's also, if you look really closely in one of these videos, and I don't want to be messy, but I also want to point it out, something that I noticed. There is I don't know what the girl's name is, but she's a white girl. She's got on a brown dress, so you can all go back and watch this video. She's got a blonde ponytail, yeah? And when Riel has got into the car, you can see the friend spinning the driver's, like the wheel of the car. Whether that's to stop her from getting out of the car, to stop her, or whether that's to turn it into the position so when she puts her foot down, it does it. I'm not entirely sure because I do not have a license, so I cannot drive.
Do you think Gabrielle will be convicted of murder or will walk away with the claim of self-defense? Let me know in the comment section. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.